Well, a guy that knows all about St. Henry's High School and quarterbacks, Bobby Hoying went there, had a good career at Ohio State, later with Philadelphia, is Jeff Hartings. And John Cooper never really recruited you, Jeff. And by the way, welcome until he went to your basketball games late, but the deal was done with Penn State by the time he got involved, right?
It was done way before that, really. I did not grow up an Ohio State fan, and I never have been.
Not tonight either.
No, never. Beckman is from St. Henry, so I've been, and obviously his dad was my high school coach. So, I called him and I talked to him this week, and I said I'm rooting for him every week except this week. I'm, hoping he kind of has a bad game tonight.
Well, the interesting thing is I didn't realize Beckman's dad coached you.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
and that shows a lot of things. That's one of the reasons that you're talking about here with
Joe
this kid.
was talking about that this week.
Yes, it's a special thing when you got a guy that's coached by his dad, and you know what that. Usually, coaches' sons make pretty good football players.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he was running around the high school football field we practiced on when he was 4 or 5 years old. So he's been on the football field for a long time, and I think that's what you're seeing this year is a very smart, confident quarterback, and hopefully our crowd can have an impact on him. But I don't know how much of an impact because I watched the Washington game. It was loud there, and I was amazed that they were able to get off on the ball. So hopefully we're going to be a lot louder than that tonight.
Jeff, you had the great fortune of being a member of one of the great teams here in 1994. What are your impressions of the Penn State offensive line? If you've seen them on TV, which I'm sure you have now that you have Saturdays off and you don't have that grind of going to the away games in Pittsburgh or where they're going. But I think it's a really good group, and we were just talking about how they have really come together over the last 3 games.
That's my impression right there. Is I came to the Notre Dame game, and they did all right, but I felt like the last couple games they've gotten the running game going. They struggled. I watched the Michigan game, and that was a big problem in the Michigan game. But since then, I felt like they've come together and they're playing better, and that's kind of how offensive line play is. When you get new guys in there. I mean, they lost Levi Brown. That's a big man to lose in there. So
literally.
So I think it just took them a little while, and tonight's a challenge for sure. Ohio State's got some good players, so we'll see.
Tell us how difficult it is when you have to plug in a new guy. As far as communication, getting the signals, reading defenses, because we're skilled guys. We don't get in the trenches with you guys, and that's where the game is really played at. And is it that difficult to plug in a new guy when someone goes down with an injury?
Yeah, it's definitely. Kenny can relate. It's kind of like a new receiver going in there for a quarterback, and all of a sudden they don't run the route the same exact way. No 2 offensive linemen do things the exact same way. So, put a new O-lineman in there and you're liable to get stepped on, when you're that doesn't feel good.
Steps don't
happens
work
all
together.
the time in training camp because you're switching new guys in there, and then you get angry because he's stepping on top of you and everything, and that's what it's kind of like. It's kind of like dancing with somebody other than your wife, probably. You're not in rhythm, but
there you go. So you had an interesting because you did both. You played guard and center. I mean, how difficult is it to make kind of halfway through your pro career to make that kind of a change for you?
It was difficult. I think Kenny was there when I was making that transition.
I remember the snap. The big thing was, can he take a snap?
Yeah. I thought I made a mistake after one practice in training camp when I fumbled the ball 4 times. And, somehow I look back on that and I'm like, I have no idea how he kept me at center, but he did, and it turned out all right. I mean, a couple years later,
that year.
Somehow I was voted the best center in the league, so it was, it worked out.
Also got the ring too while you're at Pittsburgh. You hung around because I know your knees were killing you the last couple of years, and you were a year-to-year proposition, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm an understatement on the knees, I'm sure.
Yeah, the last 3 years were definitely year-to-year, and I just kept coming back because I felt like we had an opportunity to win the Super Bowl, and Roethlisberger comes and we go 15-1, and then I definitely felt like now we have a legitimate, very good quarterback. So and I was still loving football. My knees were hurting, but I was able to deal with it. And this past year was finally, it got to the point where it was taking too much of the love of the game from me.
What are you doing now, Jeff? I mean, your wife, I know you have beautiful children. I know you had the first time of your life you can spend some time. You're getting adjusted to being around kids all day. I know it's a little bit different. Yeah. But what are you doing now?
I love spending time with my kids, but part-time I'm moved back to Pittsburgh to help an inner city ministry, actually, Urban Impact Foundation, and I'm continuing to help raise money actually with the Pittsburgh Steelers, doing the same thing that I did, only other players are doing it now for us. So I'm helping them in that program, and then I'm going down there and doing basketball program with them and just trying to come alongside them, giving them an opportunity, giving them hope, encouraging them, and that by far gives me more joy, second to nothing except my own family.
Jeff, thank you so very much for stopping by. Congratulations on an unbelievable career, and I know you're excited about what's taking place here in about a half an hour.
Yeah, this is exciting. It brings back a lot of memories for, I know a lot of us, for sure.